when I was younger, about 5 years old, so primary school, and I liked fire. It looked cool. Like you see a picture of like fire and how it's like captured, and it looks really cool. We got this garage door, and as this, it's only made out of tin. It's not big, and I was like, oh, it's a metal. It's not gonna burn. Then when Mum got home, she's like, why is there a great big patch of paint missing on one side of the door? I was like, oh shit. Mum was like, okay, let's change this into something a little more healthy. And so yeah, in grade 2, so I've been burning stuff since I was about 5 years old. And we had all our different types of staffs. We had the standard staff, which I had the shorter version of the standard staff. It's gold, you'll see it in some pictures. It was about 5 foot, 4.5 foot long. I got it at Woodford, actually. I think that was more the inspiration of it. Because we saw these performers there, and they were just going all around, and I was just like, oh my god, this looks amazeballs. And so yeah, I learned from a whole bunch of different people, different ways to fire twirl, different techniques to do certain stuff. I did have a main teacher, Matthew Dalamaris, and he learned from several teachers. I had multiple teachers, but he was my main one. So it's not that dangerous, it's more just shit your pants surprise. So we were in the middle of this one performance. Obviously the flame would go out very easily, so we'd quickly drench the end of it in fuel, and then when we did the other end, because one end would be drenched, we'd turn it around, other end would go in, we'd have a towel tucked in someone's back pocket. As we were quenching it, we'd have this rag holding up at the bottom of the wick so that no fuel would drip down the stuff. But by halfway through, 3/4 of the way through the performance, it was pretty soaked in fuel. And as it was tucked in my back pocket, I was like, oh, it's supposed to be a cold night, but it's really quite warm, so we kept going. And I was like, okay, it's hotter than usual. I know it's hot with this much flame around. Why is it so hot? I look behind me, this entire towel is on fire. And I'm just like, oh, that's why it's so hot, and I throw it. As for injuries, no, we never really got much. Maybe a sprained wrist every now and then, but that's about as severe as they got. Yeah, when it came to martial arts, you certainly really got a different appreciation for the extent that someone can actually push themselves to. You learn the extent at which how far someone's pushing themselves, just by how they look, how much effort they've put in. Like, you can tell when someone's at their limit so much easier than most other people, exhausting themselves, and you can tell when they're when their bodies want to collapse but they still keep pressing forward. I always commend anyone that goes to an extent in which their body does something quite humiliating, like shitting themselves, peeing themselves, vomiting, anything, and they still continue doing it. I commend that to anyone, because if you vomit and then you just continue, that to me is badass. Like, that's just, alright, cool, you've done that, you keep going, you keep pressing. Looping back, concluding, that's really what I learned from my martial arts, is what the body can do, what you can push yourself to, how much effort one can put in. When you get to a certain realization, you realize that pain's just a construct, and once you can figure that around and figure out how to work around that, it makes things so much more achievable. Bullying is a big part of my history. I was bullied a lot in my primary school, right from the beginning, because if you haven't picked up on yet, I'm a bit unusual. I'm not the most, usual guy that you tend to come across. Like, I say weird stuff straight out of the ordinary. Apparently, I was the gayest kid in school. So, 20 years on, girlfriend of my dreams, who's the gay one now. But no, I had probably the longest, I had the longest hair of any guy in my grade. And so, because I had long hair, I was gay. I was super gay. Not that anyone knew what that meant. No one knew what gay meant. It meant that you liked boy cooties or something like that. And I was teased for it, sag whacking. It never got really overly abusive, which was great. Mainly because the school was a pretty good school, and they wouldn't tolerate that at all. Quite usually verbal, so nothing overly intense when it came to bullying, but I was still the main bullied person at school. That's where I found my fire twirling, because they all loved that, and I loved it. It was physical, it was something I could do. Because my eyes are horrible at tracking on their own without set of glasses, I didn't need to use my eyes, I could use my body. That's where I came into martial arts. I could use my body, I could see 2 sets of pads, I could see a face, I could see points to hit on the body. I didn't need to track any of those were, because I knew where they were. you don't have to do what everyone else does. You don't have to spar like everyone. You don't have to fight like everyone. You find what you love to do your best. Whether kicking is your thing, whether punching is your thing, you do you. And being weird is one of the best things I've ever found. You'd be surprised how far your body can actually go before it gives up. The mind is the mind. Like, you just, that whole mind-body thing, it is surprising how much your body has to offer, that you just have to push through to make it do that.
My name is Nathan Brown. I was born in Australia. And I breathe fire, motherfucker.